Hi! Today I want to show you a plugin that makes insane risers. But I will also show you how you can make insane risers with Ableton stock plugins. And I'll build a rack out of it, which you will be able to download for free. So this plugin is called Supermodal. On the left hand side, we have a filter. I have here a simple sawtooth wave. Sounding beautiful. On the right hand side, we have a modal filter. What is a modal filter, you're asking? Good question. A modal filter shapes the sound by mimicking the resonating characteristics of various physical objects. And it has 27 of these physical objects, such as a little piano, a xylophone, and even a spring. So let's turn the blend to the right, and as the filter moves up on the frequency spectrum, you'll get a different pitch shifting effect. Yep, that's how a spring sounds when it's resonating via a sawtooth wave. And the cool thing is, you can use any sound source. You can even use white noise. But I will use a sawtooth wave. The cool thing about this device, that has an insane modulation section. Let's start with a meta knob. Let's assign the meta knob to the filter. Let's make it go all the way up. I'll just quickly automate this to go up. And so on. It also has an insane sequencer. So it starts with a sine wave. And you can choose from all of these amazing shapes. Let's assign this to the filter. So let's just type in 12, and this will be equal to 12 semitones. You can even draw your own shape just by clicking and dragging. If you press Option and hover over the sequencer, you now have a piano, and you can actually draw specific notes. I just wish there was some sort of a hack here for people that are not quite familiar with music theory. So Adrian, if you watch this. But you can always use the random sequencer and then lock it to a scale. I'm so sorry. So yeah, let's choose the minor pentatonic. Let's choose a range of 1, and we'll increase this all the way up. Let's also increase the rate to 16th, so it'll be a little bit more choppy. Let's also add some drive. Maybe let's change the modal. You can even change the decay. I particularly prefer the sequencer in this case. Let's go back to 12 semitones. You can make it stereo by pressing on this circle. Now, this is really cool. Now, we can add this meta knob to some other parameters, such as this. Maybe let's type down here 2. Actually, 2 goes all the way up. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Now, we don't have to keep the automation like this. Maybe we can choose a shape from here. This might be really cool. Now, you can obviously make something similar with Ableton. Not quite the same, but something very similar. I'll make a rack out of it, and you'll be able to download it for free. Let's grab a spectral resonator, a shifter, an auto filter, and a shaper. Let's put them all in a group. Let's start by clicking on this and choosing G1. Let's assign this to macro 1. So macro 1 will be the node selector. Let's add this stretch and the shift to macro 2. Let's click on map and set the initial point to 0 for both. Let's also change the mode to chorus. This will act as our riser. So at the moment we have this. Let's call this up. Let's go to the shifter and add the chorus pitch to macro 3. And we will call this more up. Let's also map this one so the initial point is 0 dB. We can make this even more crazy by adding the amount to macro 1. Let's change the rate to sync. And we can add the rate to macro 5. Let's take the phase down. Let's call this amount and we'll call this rate. Let's also give them a similar color. And we'll give these a nice blue color. And let's also assign the shape to macro 6. And we'll call this shape. And let's also give this the nice blue color. So right now we can choose between different shapes. So for example, I can choose a random. Let's add some modulation. Okay, this is sounding pretty cool. Let's close the shifter for now. And then what we will do is like this. Let's map the shaper to the frequency. We can take the frequency quite low. So at the moment we have something like this. But I want this to have some different shapes to it. So what I will do is like this. Let's take the auto filter and the shaper, put it in a rack. Let's take the frequency, put it on macro 1. Let's take the rate, put it on macro 2. Then click on this little circle and let's duplicate this chain. Let's go to this chain and change the shape to this. So let's mute the first chain. If I add the first chain and mute the second one, nice. Let's duplicate this and make this shape. And let's do that with all of the different shapes that we have here. So yeah, obviously this is a little bit more limited than the Supermodal, but it's a decent option overall. Now, we don't want all of these shapes to play together. It can sound quite cool, but we can do something a little bit better with this. Let's go to the chain. So let's highlight all of the chains, hover over the blue line and drag it all the way down to the right. Right click over the blue lines and click on Distribute Ranges Equally. Now we can set the chain selector to macro 3. So macro 3 will select which chain is playing. Nice! And now what we can do is frequency to macro 7, the rate to macro 8, and the chain selector to macro 9. And let's give them all a beautiful red color, so we know they're all related to the same rack. Now we have an insane riser rack. Don't forget to download this rack for free, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!